Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 309. The album that I would like to review this evening is Ice Cube with his eighth album, Raw Footage, released in 2008. This album was released 2 years after his 2006 album, Laugh Now, Cry Later, which I did a review on a little over a week ago. Make sure you guys check that out. I was kind of shocked to see how much people praised that album, so it's pretty cool. And that's why I like doing these videos, because I like to see people's different opinions on certain things, like, oh, I like this album, I didn't like this album, or how this album affected me, and that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. Like, it sparks conversations. I'm all for that. So after the release of Laugh Now, Cry Later, in 2007, he was pretty busy. He was in the silver screen. He did the sequel to Are We There Yet? And then up until the sequel was Are We Done Yet? So he released that. And in that same year, he had dropped a compilation album called In the Movies, and basically what that entails is like songs that he did for soundtracks, from Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning, Dangerous Grounds, movies like that. So all the stuff he did for soundtracks, he pretty much put on that compilation album. I'm trying to get my hands on it, but it's a little hard to find. And being that it was released on the Priority Records, because a lot of Priority stuff have been kind of like out of print, and like they go out of print and like out of hard to find. My only gripe with that compilation is that it doesn't have the song Street Fighter, which was on the Street Fighter soundtrack that came out in '94. Dope soundtrack, horrible movie. Remember seeing that movie back in like '94 when it came out. It came out in the summer of that year. Not a good movie at all. In retrospect, and as a kid, I liked it, but looking back, it's like really cheesy, really campy. But anyways, on that soundtrack, they had a song called Street Fighter, and they did not add that on the movie compilation album. I don't know if it's because maybe Capcom owns the release of that soundtrack, even though it was released on the Priority Records. But I don't know if Capcom owns the rights, because those video game studios are very strict about shit like that. So maybe they couldn't get that song. I'm pretty sure they had that in mind, but just couldn't get it. So could be a copyright thing. So you know how that go. And then in 2008, he ended up dropping this album, right? So this album spawned three singles, which include "Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It," "Why Me," and "Do Your Thing." Those are the three singles of the album, right? This is what the album looks like. You see Ice Cube with he grew on the fro, like me, you know what I mean? Kind of reminiscent of the Lethal Injection era, back in like 93, 94. Lethal Injection, bootlegs and B-sides. He was on Higher Learning with the Afro. He was in the movie Glass Shield. I mentioned that before. But I kind of like that era of Ice Cube, man. Like that 92 to 94. That's like my favorite era of Ice Cube. So, but yeah. So that's what he looks like. In the back, same thing. Pretty cool. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this album, along with Laugh Now Cry Later, was released independently under the Lenchmont Records. The reason I bring that up is because I remember a couple years back, I was trying to get my hands on these albums, but they were like long out of print because they were independent, and they would go for like a little bit of money. I forgot to mention that in the Laugh Now Cry Later, I figured let me mention that as well. And his feature releases were released on Lunchmont Records, but I think he got back with Priority Records in the later years. But I know for a while this album and Laugh Now Cry Later was like really hard to find, and it was like kind of like pricey online. If you go to like eBay or Discogs and stuff like that, it was like really expensive. But now you get it for like dirt cheap. You get it for like $10, $8. So, but I remember like around like 2022, during COVID, these albums were a little expensive and a little hard to find, but I'm glad it went down. So I just had to throw it out there. But yeah, like I said, eighth album. Now let's get into it. See what the CD looks like. All right, pretty cool. Got some blood splattering. Pretty cool. Pretty dope. Then you got a Cube with a bat. You know what I mean? About to smack a nigga. Oh man, pretty dope. Then you got let me take this booklet out. Then you got the legendary Lynch Mob logo. Fucking love that logo. Very legendary. Give me a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Open it up. Got Cube in a hoodie. Got a knife about to stab a nigga. That's a dope pick right there. You got Cube like in a bandana. You know what I'm saying? Just posing. You got him. You got Cube in a machete. That's pretty cool. And then you got the future releases like the Laugh Now Cry Later, the the Guilty by Affiliation, which was okay. Then you got the KD album, Ass Gas and No Cash, very underrated album. And then the Caution album was just, like super slept on. A lot of those albums are kind of out of print, like very expensive. All right, so let's get into the features of the album. Let's get into it. Features include, you got Young Jeezy, you got Music Soul Child, you got Doughboy, who's Ice Cube's son that played Ice Cube and Straight Outta Compton, which is a fucking legendary classic movie. In my opinion, I don't care what nobody says. One of the best, if not the best, hip hop biopic that I've seen. I stand by that. I fucking love that. I haven't seen that in theaters. So, you got Dub C in The Game. You got Butch Cassidy. And that's pretty much it. Now let's get to the features. The producers. Producers include, let's see, Pino, Emil, I mentioned him before, dope producer, Maestro, let's see, Hallway Productions, I mentioned Hallway Productions again, The Business, Palumbo Beats, Hallway Productions I mentioned before, Symphony, Emil I mentioned before, M Beats, Baby Dub, DJ Crazy 2, may rest in peace, This Mix, and Young Focus and DJ Cash. Those are the producers of the album. Alright, you know how I get down. I'm going through some of the tracks, the meat and potatoes. Alright. You know how I get down. Alright, let's get into it. First track is What Is a Pyroclastic Flow. Once again, just like in the Laugh Now Cry Later album, you have Keith David doing like an intro. He's basically comparing Ice Cube as a volcano that's about to blow up, and when he spits fire, he spits lava and that kind of thing. So basically, I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying, basically. So pretty cool. All right. Then we got track. We got track 2. I Got My Lokes On, featuring Young Jeezy. That was produced by Pino. Was not really a fan of this song, to be honest with you. Just like some of the songs of Laugh Now Cry Later, he kind of had like that down south flow, down south type production, which I don't feel like fit Ice Cube in my personal opinion. But that's one thing I do give Ice Cube props, because one thing about him, he's kind of like a chameleon. He will adapt to whatever the sound is at that time and go to his he will kind of adapt to the sound that's of today. So he never makes the same album twice. So that's why I do give it. He's able to adapt. But just to me personally, he needs West Coast beats. He just don't sound good over those kind of beats. And then like the way he was rapping, he was kind of giving me like Rick Ross vibes. You know what I mean? Like the beat kind of sounds like something that the way he was flowing, the beat kind of sounded like something Rick Ross would have rapped over, especially at that time period. He would say, I got my Lokes on, welcome to the Terror Dome. I got them carrots and giving out their pheromones. Like, come on, like, it's like shit like that. It's like, come on, Cube. Like, nah, fam. But that's what I'm saying. He was trying to go for that, so I just wasn't feeling that. So that's track 2, I Got My Lokes On. And with a song like that, you would think that'd be like more West Coast, but that's neither here or there. So we're gonna go to Track 3, It Takes a Nation. That was a pretty cool track that was produced by Emil. Um, Decent beat. Um, I do like the line when he says, when I bang this is dangerous. Niggas go brainless. So bang with this 4-5 stainless. I understand that you looking at the famous West Coast rapper who who's not like an anus. Hollywood, they thought they could tame this Pitbull. But I know what the game is. The fuckers cheat like an NBA ref. If you smoke one, they'll electrocute you to death. Dope shit right there. So I like that. So that was track 3, It Takes a Nation. Track 4, Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It. That's the first single of the album. Dope track right there. That was produced by Maestro, the first single of the album. Um, Basically in this song, he kind of addresses the critics of hip hop, saying like, the saying that hip hop is responsible for the violence in society, blah 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 blah. He kind of takes shots at them, and kind of the people just like to use hip hop as a scapegoat for society's problem is violence or just the down ills, and kind of addresses that. I like the line where he says, I'm raw as a dirty needle, choke an eagle just to feed all my people. Literally, I'm so lethal, plant thoughts in their mind just to defeat you. Ice Cube is a saga. Y'all spit saliva, and I spit lava, fire. So that was track 4, Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It. Track 5, Hood Mentality. That was produced by Hallway Productions. Um, Basically, that was featuring Keith David, where he does like a narration. Basically, what I got from that track is basically he talks about the black stereotypes that carry on with black people, but don't let those stereotypes dictate you who you are as a person. I'm just paraphrasing basically the message that I got from the song, and that's what I got from that. I'm not a fan of the beat, but I do like the line when he says, now I'm a slave man to this caveman without Geico. Everybody wanna call Michael a psycho, but he never came through the hood with a rifle, gunning niggas down cause they don't got the right clothes. So basically, we just playing on into, the society's government conspiracy to bring black people down. We're just playing on to that. So that's basically what I got, man. So decent tries. I wasn't a fan of the beat. All right. Then we're gonna go to track 6, Why Me? That features Music Soul Child. That was produced by Hallway Productions. Dope track right here. I like the beat for it. In this track, what I got from the message was basically he talks about how people just commit violence and killings for no rhyme or reason and that kind of thing. He kind of addresses that. I do like the line when he says, you want to take the life God handed to me, send it back to him because you ain't a fan of me. Scary bitch with a gun ain't a man of me. That's an animal. That's a fucking cannibal. I'm Geronimo and Hannibal with an international gangster pull. I'm a born in Barcelona with a Corona. You's a fake ass nigga. Where's your owner? I'm a real live man. You're a person. Now I'm a goner. Call my mom and the coroner. Mr. Gunman, your plan is working because niggas is dying and mamas is hurting. Fire, 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 fire. I love that. So that was track 6, Why Me? Track 7 is Cold Places. That was produced by Hallway Productions. This was an okay track. Again, definitely gives me Rick Ross vibes. Something sound like something that Rick Ross would have sound good over that. You can kind of see like a theme on this album so far. With Laugh Now Cry Later, he had more Little John production. As you can tell, it didn't work because he didn't work with him again on this album. And then with this album, he was going for that Street Runner, Cool and Dre type production and things like that. So again, that was an okay track. Again, sound like something that could have been with Rick Ross. The same thing with Jack in the Box, track 8. Definitely sound like something that could have been on Rick Ross album. Definitely has like that vibe to it. I wasn't too crazy about that. Then we got track 9, Do Your Thing, which is the second single of the album. Was not a fan of this song at all. Could have done without that, honestly. Um, Track 10, Thank God. Um, Dope fucking song right here. I believe, yeah, dope song right there. That was produced by Hallway Productions. Um, I like the line when he said, "Some of y'all start to smile, some of y'all start to frown, some of y'all back up for a nigga start to clown. Now I gotta act up, kinda like Bobby Brown. Better call up for backup when I shut this lobby down." Whew, fire. Love that shit. So that's track 10, Thank God. Track 11, Here We Come. Here He Come. That was produced by Symphony. Sorry. That was produced by Symphony. It's featuring Doughboy. Like I said, Doughboy is Ice Cube's son. The one that played Ice Cube on Straight Outta Compton. He was a rapper at one point. I don't know if he still does music, but I wasn't a fan. Not a fan. Was not a fan of the song. I could have done without that, honestly. So that was track 11, Here He Come. Track 12, Get Money, Spend Money, No Money. Fire fucking song right here. That was produced by Emil. Definitely my favorite song of the album, if not one of my favorites. Really dope. That was produced by Emil. I like the line where he says, "No need to ask Ice Cube how I'm living. How you living, look? I still got the recipe. South Central LA is the pedigree. Don't try to tell me what is better be. I have your ass up in physical therapy. I owe like a Cherokee. The rap industry try to bury me, but if I died on the mic at Larry B, I'm so heavy you bitches couldn't carry me." Whoo, fire. Dope shit right there. Dope Pete. He definitely went in on that track. So that's track 12, Get Money, Send Money, No Money. Dope shit. Definitely one of the better tracks of the album. Love that joint right there. Track 13, Get Used to It, featuring Dub C in The Game. It's like one of those things that looks good on paper, but the beat doesn't deliver. I was very disappointed with the beat. Was not a fan of the beat. With that kind of lineup, I was kind of expecting some G-Funk shit. I'm not gonna hold you, some hardcore G-Funk shit, but I didn't get that, so it's unfortunate. So we're gonna go with track 14, Tomorrow. Fucking dope trunk right there. Basically he's talking about at the time the downfall of hip hop. He addresses like people downloading music. I did that. I'm not gonna hold you. I think we all did. I mean, you're full of shit if you say you never download music. You're full of shit. So, but he pretty much talks about the downfall of hip hop with people downloading music with the iPod and all that stuff, and just the direction that hip hop was going at the time. So he just wasn't feeling it. I like the line when he says, "You dumb as OJ off of Forte in your eyes on. That's this the rap god. What you gonna put up in your iPod downloader? What you gonna do when your favorite MC got to sue you? Cause he gotta eat, ain't nothing taboo. Get your ass beat like by Erykah Badu. Cause you wanna steal this good music, put me out of the business, now you lose it." Fucking dope shit. So he kind of addresses that. So I thought it was pretty dope. The way he flowed on that joint was pretty good. Track 15, Stand Tall. That was produced by DJ Crazy Tunes, may he rest in peace, and Dismix. In this track, he basically talks about how the black community, we have to, stand up for each other, love and embrace each other, and that kind of thing. That's basically what I got from this track. That easily could have been a single, especially for that time period. I like the line when he said, "I ain't your blood brother, but I'm your cuz brother. Let's take it back to the love and how it was, brother. If not, we're gonna pull these triggers, show the world we believe to be called niggas. I make a fuck up like Don Imus, bow on his knees and call you your highness." Whew, fire. Dope shit right there. So that's track 15, Stand Tall. And the last track, track 16, Take Me Away. That was produced by DJ Cass and Young Focus. Dope track right there. I like the line when he said, "Ice Cube for president, let's just do it for the hell of it. See, I'd run the government, make money irrelevant. I might tell a chick it's illegal to be celibate. Secret Service damn know where the hell I went. Sorry, I had to fucking super delicate." Whoo, fire. Alright, Um, my overall thoughts on this album, compared to Laugh Now Cry Later, um, this might be a little bit of a step down for me. He did go back to his West Coast vibes, but it wasn't good. I never thought I'd say that because I remember before in the past I did say I preferred this album over Laugh Now Cry Later, but to me it's the complete opposite. I know some people, shout out to my boy Rez, we spoke on this the other day that he actually liked this album and he felt like it's underrated. I could definitely see that. It didn't do anything for me. I just feel like the beats were a big problem. You know what I mean? Because when you look at this album, you know I definitely get um, I definitely get Lethal Injection vibes. Like okay, shit, he's gonna go back to that vibe and that kind of thing. He didn't. I mean, he did, but he didn't. He was going for the sound at the time. He was going for that Rick Ross production style production. Whereas on Laugh Now Cry Later, he was going for the more Little John style, but that A-Town's production. And, you know, by that time in 2008, that sound was getting played out anyways. It was played out as is, so that's why he went for that Jeezy sound, Rick Ross sound. So, it's an okay album. It's not his best album. I could care less about it. It's alright, but even though he kind of went a little more political on this album, I kind of expected better on the production. That's my personal, especially having a song with Dub C and Game. I would think it would be some like straight loped out gang banging type shit, but we didn't get that. So that's my thoughts on this album. Could have been better. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Next video is gonna be a CD collection. It's gonna be some heat, some stuff that you guys would appreciate. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, peace.